Welcome back, everyone. Today, I thought I'd take a look at the Godzilla Minus One promo card. This was made available by a promotion on TCG Player for one day only, unfortunately. And it came in two variants, the one you see before you, which is the normal 9 out of 10 version, which I think is a 10 out of 10 personally, and then a 1 out of 10 alternate art, which I don't think looks really that great. I don't think a lot of people have been talking about it because it's not so widely available, but I still wanted to, since Godzilla is now, as of this year, going to be moving forward in Universus, I wanted to take a crack at his first showing in our game. So to start off, he is a 6 hand size, 36 health character, getting into some old school standard stats. He has the Chaos, Earth, and Life symbols, and the Monster trait. So that's going to be fun going forward, I think. He's got a static that says you cannot play attacks with a printed difficulty of 4 or less. That has made building this character very tricky, because you can't string, you can't really hope to bomb, hopefully, so you really just gotta be patient with this character. He's definitely not like a turn 2 aggro. But it does have an enhance that says this attack gets +2 damage, and if it's blocked, your rival flips a foundation. This enhance is absolutely free, so you don't have to commit anything, you don't have to flip anything. All of your attacks are going to have +2 damage, and if your opponent blocks them, they flip their foundations. Pretty good. I chose to build mine off the Earth symbol, mainly for the more power foundation, skipping attacks for a second, which has a form commit. Your next attack with a printed difficulty of 5 or greater gets -2 difficulty. So since we're only allowed to play 5 and greater difficulty attacks, having something that reduces the difficulty of those attacks consistently, as I said, this is a commit and not a flip, is really helpful. And then in a deadlock, you can flip it for +5 speed or +5 damage. Usually you're going to go for the speed on that one. But let's show off the attacks that we're going with. First off is Hunter's Pursuit from the Cowboy Bebop Challenger series. It is a 5 difficulty, a 5 low for 5. It has ally EX2 and ranged, so EX2, you can discard any number of momentum and give it +2 speed for every momentum that you discard. Again, we're going to be making our attacks pretty strong on our own. Making them faster is going to be definitely helpful. And it has an enhance that says if you have 3 or more face-down foundations, your next attack gets -2 difficulty. So if we have a way to flip our stage, which we have several ways to do that, I believe, I say as now I'm second-guessing myself, you can keep your difficulty curve down on your attacks so you can play more than maybe 2 a turn. Then I've got Split-Second Standoff. This is another Cowboy Bebop Challenger Series card, a 6 difficulty. It is 5 mid for 8. It has 2 first enhances. The first enhance is this attack gets +2 speed for free, which 9 times out of 10 is going to be what you're doing. So you can make this a 7 mid for 8, and then with Godzilla, a 7 mid for 10, which is pretty strong. And then another first enhance, if you have 8 or more face-down foundations, double this attack's speed. You're not going to be doing this one a lot. You're just not. But when you can, and make this a 10 mid 10, that's going to be game ending. Next up we've got Titan's Cliff, another 6 difficulty attack. It is a 5 high 6 with Fury and Slam, and Mount Lady Powerful 3, but we don't need to worry about that. It says enhance, discard up to 3 cards and draw 1 card for each card discarded. The discarded cards are counted as being reviewed. This is mainly to filter foundations that we don't need out of our hand to hopefully draw more attacks. Again, with Godzilla, this is a 5 high 8, which is pretty solid. I don't think any of our attacks are coming in for anything less than base 7 when you count Godzilla's enhance. I think Hunter's Pursuit is our weakest with a 5 printed damage. So, yeah, all of these are going to be pretty solid coming in that your opponent's not going to want to just take on the chin. And then enhance, you may build 1 card with a check value of 6 from your hand or discard pile. So, assets, foundations, anything that has a 6 check, you can build in for free, which is kind of the main reason I'm putting in the Titan's Cliff, along with the draw, because we are playing, as you'll see, Takoyaki and Vast Regeneration, or Ultra Regeneration, to try to get our 6 diffs in for free, so we don't have to worry about building after maybe checking bad on a couple of attacks. Next up is Red Riot Unbreakable, a 5 difficulty 4 mid for 7. It's got a Breaker 1 on a +1 mid block, which is really good. It has Enhance. For the rest of this turn, your rival loses 2 health after they play a response during the block and damage steps. So for the rest of the turn, if they Breaker you, if they have anything in the damage step or block step that would reduce your damage or speed, anything like that, they're going to auto lose 2 health. And this is along with Blazing Fury and Prominence Burn. Kind of a mini theme in here of just burning your opponent down. I think that kind of mixes well with Godzilla being radioactive, so I kind of tried to add a little bit of that flavor into the deck building, but we'll see what you think of that. But it's also in here for the Enhance, discard 1 momentum, your rival destroys a Ready Foundation, you build the top card of your deck. So you get a Ready Foundation, and your opponent loses a Ready Foundation for the cost of 1 momentum. And this comes in at a 4 mid 9 in Godzilla. Pretty solid. I don't think your opponent's going to want to just take 9. Also it should be said that the burn effect for Red Riot Unbreakable can reduce your opponent to 0 health. So if they try to Breaker you and they're at 1 or 2, sorry, you're done. Next up is Calorie Counter, another Fury. It's a printed 6 difficulty with a 3 mid for 6. It's got a static that says if your last attack this turn was blocked, likely any of your attacks is going to get blocked unless your opponent has no way to deal with them. This attack gets -3 difficulty and +2 speed. So it becomes a 3 difficulty attack, which is insane, because then it becomes a 5 mid 6, a 5 mid 8 in Godzilla as a 3 difficulty. So if you play this as your 3rd attack, maybe... Sorry, I've got an animal trying to get on the desk. If you play this as your 3rd attack, your opponent's probably committed a bunch of foundations in order to block your big moves, and this comes in at 8 damage. Pretty solid. And then it even has Enhance. If this attack is blocked, gain 2 health and flip a rival foundation. So it becomes a 5 mid 8 that if it's blocked, you gain 2 health, and along with Godzilla's Enhance, you get to flip 2 foundations of your rival. So you are just putting the pressure on, making sure that they can't do anything offensively or defensively without going into deadlock, which is pretty dangerous. Next up is Blazing Fury, a 4 mid for 6. Sorry about that, if you guys heard that. A 4 mid for 6 that says Enhance. If this attack's damage is 8 or greater, which it's a printed 6, Godzilla gives it 2, that makes 8. Your rival loses 2 health and discards a momentum. Now this effect cannot reduce your rival below 1 health, but free 2 damage straight off the bat. And then if they half block it, they take 4. If they can't deal with it, they take 8. And it causes your opponent to lose a momentum. Pretty solid overall. And then Prominence Burn. This is one I wasn't sure about adding, but then I noticed I was running quite a few Furies. Titan's Cliff, Red Riot Unbreakable, Calorie Counter, Blazing Fury are all Furies, so it pretty much works. Sorry, I'm wrestling with a cat. Sorry about that. But it's a 4 high for 7, so in Godzilla it's a 4 high for 9. It says Enhance, remove the top card of your deck. This attack gets 2 speed, 6 high for 9, and then your next Fury attack gets 2 speed. So, again, if your opponent's having to commit a lot of foundations in order to block your really high damage moves, this could be a way to put all of that pressure to good work. And then Enhance, remove 1 Fury attack from your card pool. Your rival loses 3 health. Cannot reduce them below 1 health, but 3 free damage. So if you play the Blazing Fury, give it 2 damage, that's 2 free health that they lose. Then you could play a Prominence Burn, and like if you use something like More Power to give it -2 difficulty, comes in at a 5 diff with progressive. Then you remove the Blazing Fury, you've just knocked 5 health off of them for free, and forced them to deal with an 8 damage move and a 9 damage move. And then this one is a 6 high for 9, and then your next move, if you have one like a Calorie Counter or a Split Second Standoff, is going to get an additional 2 free speed, just for removing the top card of your deck. So I like the fact that it gives the speed to itself and another card, and it helps remove progressive difficulty so that your really high difficulty attacks don't really hinder you as much. Moving on to assets, I've got Takoyaki, a 1 difficulty 6 control, so this can be built in with the Titan's Cliff. It says Enhance Destroy. This attack gets +2 or -2 damage. Draw 1 card. Usually I play this for defense, for the -2 damage and the draw on defense, so I can try to draw another block. But if you just need to kill someone, like your opponent has no cards in hand, and you just need to go all in, I mean, +2 damage doesn't really hurt. I mean, you get 2 damage for free with Godzilla. But all in all, mainly there for the defensive stuff. I decided to throw in Fateful Meeting, because Godzilla has 36 health to play with, so you can afford to take a few attacks on the chin. And just response remove. After you take damage from an unblocked attack, your rival loses 3 health, cannot reduce them below 3 health. But again, with Fateful Meeting, Blazing Fury, Prominence Burn, Red Riot Unbreakable, just this idea of just being around, just being in conflict with Godzilla is just burning you with like radioactivity. I kind of really felt like that was a cool avenue to explore, so I thought just kind of adding a little bit of that as some flavor to the deck would be fun. Heroic Endurance. This is another really good defensive foundation. Enhanced Commit. This attack is -2 damage. Tenacious Remove. So playable while committed. You remove this foundation. This attack is -2 damage. So 1 foundation counting for -4 damage. Really makes using Faithful Meeting pretty easy, because you're going to reduce something down to like 2 or 3 maybe, and then you're going to burn for 3 right back. So really makes it pretty good. I've got New Number 1 here. This is another card I'm kind of unsure about, mainly because, you know, we're already running 4 3 diffs with more power. We're running 4 diffs with Ultra Regeneration. How much do we really want a high difficulty foundation count? But I do like the fact that it cannot be sealed, and you can commit it to return this attack to printed speed, and then it gets +1 or -1 speed. So it can make your attack a little bit faster if they've done a lot of speed reduction, reduce your speed to 0 maybe. Or if your opponent's doing a lot of speed buffing, you can reduce its speed to printed and then give it a -1. So just as maybe a one-of, this probably would be one of the first foundations I'd cut going through this deck. But I figure it also couldn't hurt too much. And like I said, for more power, this is your main way of reducing the difficulty of your attacks. Just as a form, your next attack in this deck is going to get -2 difficulty. It's not unique, so getting multiple of these on the field at one point could be really, really staggering for your opponent to deal with. I've got a couple of Ultra Regeneration. It says Response Tenacious Flip. After you take 5 or more damage from an attack, draw 2 cards and gain 2 health. Again, this could make the Faithful Meeting, having to take an unblocked attack really makes it easier to swallow if you're going to gain 2 health back and draw 2 cards. Or Enhanced Tenacious Remove. If you have no ready foundations, add a card from your discard pile to your hand. I don't see you ever using this ability, but it's mainly here for the gaining health. Then I've got Vast Strength, because of course Godzilla has vast strength. For the response remove, after an attack is played, it loses all non-keyword abilities. This is really good for any sort of attacks with multiple enhances that could be really dangerous, or cards like Specialized Sound Waves, which we won't have to be dealing with too much anymore in Standard after next month. But it would force your opponent to stack or draw first, and then you can erase all other abilities from it, non-keyword anyway. Then we have Defending Pageant Queen. Enhance Remove, reduce this attack speed to 1. Pretty solid, pretty good defensive piece. We've got Incredible Display, another good defensive piece. You respond, commit, discard a momentum. After your rival plays a non-character response ability, cancel it. So if they try to cancel one of your abilities or something like that, or seal one of your cards on response, you can just say, no, I don't think so. And then response commit after you block with a foundation, add it back to your hand. A good way to get some more value out of your cards. Got a couple of Saving Bakugo. It's a 0 difficulty foundation. Response flip after one of your foundations is flipped due to a rival effect. Unflip it, and then draw 1 card. So, basically forcing your opponent to target this card with their flip stuff to protect your other foundations, unless they want you to unflip whatever they targeted to flip, and you get to draw a card in exchange. Then we've got Press Conference, another really good card for these high difficulty curved decks. It says enhance flip, reveal one attack in your hand. If the next attack you try to play this turn has the same name as the revealed attack, it gets -1 difficulty. So if I play Titancliff and I draw Blazing Fury, I can flip Press Conference, reveal Blazing Fury, and if Blazing Fury is the next card I play, that 5 becomes a 4, and makes it a little bit easier to play. So just reducing a little bit of the progressive difficulty, which you'll take all that you can get when you're running a bunch of 5s and 6s. Then we've got Quick to Act. If your current health is less than half of your maximum health, this attack is +1 speed for free. Godzilla's got 36 health. You're going to be just fine taking a couple of attacks to the face, defending with your face. You're not going to worry too much about it, so getting to half health, you're still sitting at 18. That's a pretty defendable position, considering that's most of a 7-hander at half of your health. So getting to that halfway point just to give a bunch of free speed to your attacks is pretty dope. Then we've got Snack Time. Discard 1 card, your attack gets +1 speed and stun 1. So effectively +2 speed for discarding a card. So if you have foundations in your hand you don't want to use, you can just pitch them, gain stun 1 and +1 speed. If you drew a, say, Takoyaki or an Ultra Regeneration with split second with a Titan's Cliff, and you didn't have any in your discard pile, discard that for Snack Time, build in it with Titan's Cliff, get 2 speed for your trouble, and then it has a Deadlock Enhance, flip a foundation, draw 1 card. So like I said, you're going to be flipping a lot of your opponent's foundations. Sorry, my cat's being a pain. You're going to be flipping a lot of your opponent's foundations, so they're going to need either a way to stay out of deadlock by destroying all of those face-down foundations, which will probably then get flipped by Godzilla and all of these other abilities, or they're going to have to suck it up and go into deadlock in order to deal with you. And when you have cards like Hunter's Pursuit, and other things that require you to have more face-downs, Snack Time being able to just freely flip foundations to draw cards is really nice. Speaking of flipping to draw cards, Chivalrous Competitor, enhance, flip, both players draw a card. Simple. And then response before one of your foundations would be destroyed or flipped due to a rival's non-character effect, flip this foundation instead. So you can protect your foundations from being destroyed, or you can just both draw a card and try to push your opponent into a tighter situation. Learning the Standards, a very fun defensive piece that you usually only see run in thick 6-handers or 5-handers. Godzilla is a 6-hander with more health than pretty much any 5-hander, I think, in MHA. I think the highest is 34 with 4th kind. So he's a 6-hander with more health than any 5-hander in MHA. So he can really get work out of this response remove. After you take damage from an unblocked attack, your rival must play a non-attack card as their next form or end their turn. Over. So you remove this, you maybe remove Fateful Meeting to burn them for 3 for their trouble, and you can just keep going. Then we've got number 10 Pro Hero. It's a 0 diff, it's a +1 high block, it's a 6 check. It doesn't do anything, but it's mainly here for early build turns and to build in with Titan's Cliff if you don't have Ultra Regeneration or Takoyaki. And then I've got Experimenting on Quirks. I found out I was missing quite a few high blocks in this deck right before I went live with it, so I thought I'd throw this in here, because Enhanced Commit, if you have 3 or more face-down foundations, this attack gets +2 speed. And then First Enhance, lose 1 health. If this attack deals no damage, gain 2 health. So if you know you're going to be blocking your opponent's moves completely, you can basically just gain 1 health over the course of every attack that you fully block, or reduce to 0 to deal no damage, or anything like that. So pretty good defensively and offensively, and like I said, I was pretty short on high blocks. Looking at the stats, yeah, I had 16 high blocks. I think that was at 13 right before I started doing this, so I had to change some stuff up. But yeah, that is my first take on Godzilla. I don't know about you guys, I'm pretty excited to see the Challenger series this summer with Godzilla. I'm really interested to see what they do, if they're just going to do, like, the one, kind of like a Cowboy Bebop, so you only get 2 Kaiju, and then with 1 deck, or if they do, like, a split. I think there's only one slot taken up, so I think we're only going to get 1 deck. But, hey, if they do well, maybe we'll get a full Godzilla set. I'd totally be down to be throwing around Mothra or King Ghidorah or wow, it occurs to me that I am not up on my kaijus. Maybe I'll have to go watch some old Godzilla movies. But yeah, this deck could definitely use some work. This is kind of a very rough draft, but I hadn't seen anyone talking about Godzilla. Again, probably because of how it was distributed and how not everyone has access to one. I did check on TCG Player, and there still are some of this copy up for sale that I guess people had received and didn't want. They are about $40, which is, again, expensive for 1 card, but if you're a really big fan of Godzilla and you think this is a gorgeous card, even if you're just a collector, you might want it. Who knows? He's definitely not going to be the strongest character coming into Standard, but I am definitely interested to see where he goes. And maybe I'll even look at some old retro stuff and see what I can do with the king of the kaijus. But yeah, if you like deck profile content, please feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a like. Let me know what characters you'd want to see built. If maybe you're struggling for some inspiration, or you just like, hey, this is my favorite character, I'm kind of new to the game, what would you do? I relish the idea of building for other people. I'm kind of the architect of my whole play group, so most of the decks played in my locals were designed by me, and I have an absolute blast seeing people enjoying and noticing all the interactions and stuff of my designs. Yeah, so that's about all I've got to say for Godzilla Minus One this go-round, so until next time, take care, guys.